Hello, lighthearted rainbow tribe. Let us have our beautiful moment to silence, connecting in with beauty. The beauty in your heart and your soul, the beauty in life, whether it's right here around us or in memory. Just making some contact with what is truly beautiful. As we look out on the beauty of the day, the colors of fall gracing our mountains, trees, lives. It seems like it's easier to come into contact with the sense of what animates life and all the forms of life. I coined a new word today, one of my fun things about playing with and attempting to express what is inexpressible. And the word that came today is Animass, or Animass. And I looked it up, so there is no such word. As I first started out with animator, and then I discovered that's animate. Animator. So that comes close to what I'm speaking to, but Animass is the soul, the substance, and the form as a unity. Consciousness is everything. It's energy, it's creative life force, it's the substance and the form. It's the emptiness and the fullness of everything. So in our explorations and experiences into a life of unity, for me, part of what's happened is that there was, in my early days, a growth from this realm of being into an interdimensional exploration and a recognition of existence that extended far beyond this mere physical one. And so there were energy bodies, there were different dimensions of existence, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and for me the 13th, which is no dimension at all. It's the zero dimension, it's the absolute emptiness. And so 13 and 0, same. And in those intermediate dimensions, there was individualized existence, there's group soul existence, there's all kinds of beings and energies and formations of consciousness that occur in those interdimensions. And finding myself in all of those dimensions was really lovely. And then opening out into the super implicate order, the vast, limitless, and boundless dimensions of our being, which are pure formless, non-conceptual. And in the recognition that that is who we are, there was, this great expanse, right? Third dimension all the way, I mean, if you want to start with the first dimension, that's the point, right? So first dimension all the way through to the 13th dimension, the absolute. And wow, I mean, we are such incredible beings, and so is life. And to recognize that the common denominator for all of this life that animates the universe is what's being discovered by physicists now, that we exist in a self-aware universe, which actually points to what mystics have known, is that everything is consciousness. Period. Everything. So this, this hair here is consciousness. Everything. These glasses here, consciousness. Oh, do they have a mind of their own? Do they get lost by themselves? So we are talking about different ways in which consciousness can be understood. But for me, it's like this vast openness from, the very present to the very absent, the presence of absence, the absence of presence, has all collapsed into a unity that's here now. And I'm calling that today Animass, the soul of matter, that we are this, all of it. And so, there's a lot of exploration because there's so much to explore in the vast expanse. But it's really, ultimately, all about being this here. Right? And so the playground is very beautiful. And it has to do with how do we exist in a relationship of unity as everything that exists. I was reading something in Charles Eisenstein yesterday, I think it was. And he reminded me of my sun worshipping days. I've always been a sun worshipper. May have something to do with being born under the sun sign of Leo. All very sunny. And what I went through, this time of just absolutely loving lying in the sun. I mean, here I am standing in the sun right now, and it just feels so wonderful. And what if we have a relationship of unity with the sun? Our sun. Our life-giving energy force that is touching right here, right now. And that it's possible for my consciousness to expand out and touch the sun as well. And that there is a relationship of mutual benefit and appreciation in that. And what if some of this solar activity that we're having difficulty with planetarily has to do with our lack of coherence and cohesion, our discombobulation that's throwing the entire field of the planet off kilter? And what if that's affecting the entire solar system? What if it's affecting the entire universe? What if there's no such thing as an isolated state of being? Now, there are a lot of people who have a lot of different experiences, and they come to live and believe a certain, relative stance of we're all one, right? But when you really open into the depths of it, it is one conscious aliveness. And so everything and the spirit and the engagement with which we think, feel, act has an impact. And I've been watching this for years now. when it really first dawned on me one day when I was just washing dishes in the sink. And all of a sudden I was given to experience and see that if I did that activity with conscious appreciation, with really feeling and loving the water, the soap, the dishes that I was washing, it emanated out an energy into the field. And the unified field is an entirety. And we know from quantum entanglement that it's in instantaneous communication throughout itself. There's no here and there, there's no time and space through which information actually travels. Then we begin to open into an experience of this beautiful Thich Nhat Hanh word, interbeing. One being that in its infinite variety of infinite combinations is completely interwoven. In his beautiful, one of his beautiful, simple, precious meditations of sitting with a cup of tea. And as you engage with that cup of tea, you find yourself on the mountain where the tea leaves are, and the wonderful people who are harvesting the tea leaves, and all of the people and the places that those tea leaves go to arrive at our house, and the water. I've had beautiful journeys with the water in my cup. It's all the same substance. It's all Animass, animated by the creative life force of being that is totally conscious and alive, creative, dynamic, interconnected, a singularity. When the problems of our world seem way too big, and we're not major movers and shakers in the world, right? We're not out there with this passion to save the planet or whatever it is. But what arises in us is that it's given to take care of Aunt Tilly, who's not doing well and needs some caregiving. Isn't that included in the unified realm in which everything acts with everything else for mutual benefit? Why couldn't grooming my dog be a part of that? Done with love and care and appreciation for his being and tenderness in those places where there's mats. He is a long-haired furry fella. It's not what we do, it's not how large a role we're given to play in the world. It's how we engage in our daily life, in the recognition that what we think, what we feel, and what we do, no matter how obscure it is dynamically a part of the unfolding of the entirety of the Animass we are. The Animass, the entirety, the whole that is right here alive in the universe, planet Gaia, conscious being all herself, in which we are also included. Want that information, and if you can really open into the experience, change everything. If we are to be the change we want to see in the world, we're not fooling around. We cannot indulge separation at all. And that means we can't think. We'd simply have to be this conscious intelligence, completely embodied, aware, and present in every moment. Now, every one of the wisdom traditions around the planet, if they're worth their salt, are going to offer tools and techniques to help us unlearn how to not live this way. And they're beautiful. You find what speaks to you. Yeah? And you be just consciously aware in your own being. And ask yourself, what's going on right now? What's real for me right now? What's alive in me and where I am right now? What's of unity? And we won't always have big, fancy, schmancy answers, or huge, fantastic, blissful openings. I mean, it begins to happen more and more often, just like our times of silence where the mind isn't constantly yada yada yadaing all the time. Those tend to grow and expand. But the silence is the fullness of it all. Pure silent awareness, always here. It's not that we become silent awareness, it's that we stop not being silent awareness. And from within that, we engage fully in our experience as it is right now. Allowing it to be. Because silent awareness is the heart of allowingness. We don't have to change. We have to engage consciously. Live big by infinite grace. Aware. And meet ourselves where we are, tell the truth. This is what's real for me right now. This is what my experience is. And it's okay. Already things are changing. Just in the space of that allowingness that lets us be as we are without judgment, condemnation, punishment, or reward. Oh, I'm doing good right now, so yeah. The grace of being, the actuality of the presence that is all here, immanent and alive, as the Animass of everything. It's not a reward. We don't have to earn it or deserve it. It's natural. It's where we're supposed to be living and how we're supposed to be living. Acting as this love in action. This love acting through us. And filling us full. It was the other thing that I wanted to mention about all of this. Beautiful healers who are incredible conduits for the presence and all of its beautiful aspects and energies and things that are necessary for people to release and heal what's going on for them. But a conduit is not a recipient. It's a tube. And what I find is that the healers leave themselves out of the healing. Healer, heal thyself. Receive what this is. And when your cup overfloweth, it just naturally pours out to support and nurture those who are coming to you. And so you end your day filled to overflowing, not exhausted. That's the difference between non-doing, no doer, and the doing of somebody who's a healer helping somebody. That one's got to be broken open. No healer, no person in need of help, of healing. That's another duality of the mind. And yet a direct, wide open, flowing forth engagement with those of us who feel we are sick, experiencing it. It seems really real. There's natural compassion and wisdom that knows how to engage. And really, you throw your model, your technique books, your skills pretty much out the window and let love do its thing. And it will pick up and utilize those things if they're useful in the moment. You don't have to worry about that. If it's part of who you are, if you've learned it deeply and fully, it's going to be utilized, of course. But not out of a place of, this is a me who has learned this thing and now I'm going to do it. When we recognize Animass, whatever it is we're trying to heal is this animating presence that's gotten caught up in the trance state of separation. But it is already the pure substance of being. See, the implications of the recognition of Animass as the immanence of being right here, right now, continue to permeate everything we do and shift it. So we really are talking about a very radical shift of consciousness that's operating in a completely different way than what we're conditioned to do in separation. Ain't that grand? How fun it is to be in the discovery of how that will play out in and through our lives uniquely and differently than it is in anyone else's. Animass. Animass. One enlivening and heartening, enlightening, alive, conscious being. That is the entirety of every dimension, of every aspect of the universe. One song singing itself into life. So beautiful. So amazingly incredible and wondrous. Certainly beyond the linear rational mind's comprehension. But even scientists are catching on and having their minds blown. Many blessings. May these discoveries open out into more blessings for your life every day, for the lives of those around you, and for the life of our planet that needs us to be solidly on the ground in the truth. No matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. That's what's needed. Yay.